A novice goddess named Ristarte summons a human hero, Seiya, to save the world from the Demon Lord, but she's surprised to find out that he's overly cautious of everything. The story begins when Ristarte is promoted and given the title of an S-rank goddess. She accepts the new title, but hides the fact that she's overwhelmed by the responsibility. As an S-rank goddess, Ristarte is expected to deal with a world that is plagued by an S-ranked demon lord. Such demons are so tough that even the older and more experienced gods try their best to avoid the worlds that they live in. Nevertheless, Ristarte shakes off all the nerves and immediately gets to work. She begins searching for a suitable human hero to go up against the demon lord in the world. Unfortunately, after going through several options, she notices that most of them have average stats, which won't be enough to fight against an S-rank demon king. As a result, Ristarte gets frustrated and throws a tantrum, but suddenly, she stumbles upon the file of a human named Seiya. It catches her attention because although he's at level 1, he has excellent stats, which makes him the best candidate for the job. She's very excited by this discovery because stats like Seiya's are extremely rare. Drawing a magic circle on the ground, Ristarte summons Seiya to the heavens. He looks at her in shock, wondering where he is, so Ristarte immediately informs him that he's in heaven, and he has been chosen as the hero who would fight against the Demon King. However, Seiya just tells her to save the world herself, since she's a powerful goddess. But Ristarte states that there are certain rules guiding the actions of the gods concerning humans. Once again, Seiya doesn't show any interest in saving the world, and Ristarte is surprised to hear this because he's the first hero that isn't eager to do so. Opening a portal to the new world, Ristarte tries to persuade him to follow her, but he reveals that he's not going unless he's fully prepared. After seeking advice from fellow goddess Aria, Ristarte decides to leave Seiya alone to train. She remembers that he hasn't eaten anything since he arrived, so she cooks some rice balls and offers him some. Not surprisingly, he's reluctant to eat them, claiming that he isn't certain that they aren't poisoned, so she eats some to prove that they aren't. This guy is so cautious, he doesn't even trust the goddess who wants to make him a hero. A week later, he manages to reach level 15, doing only basic exercises. For Seiya, basic doesn't really mean the same thing to others because this guy's got military level physical fitness. When they finally travel to Gabrande, Seiya tries to buy multiple sets of armor and other items. Just outside of town, the first monster they encounter is a basic slime, which Seiya defeats, though he goes overboard, burning the entire area with explosions just in case any fragments are still alive. Suddenly, they are approached by a Chaos Machina, a level 66 demon who happens to be one of the 4 heavenly kings. She reveals that she was sent out to scout the area to kill Seiya before he can pose a threat. Ristarte immediately turns around to inform Seiya that they need to escape, but is shocked to see that he's already running for his life. Bro isn't waiting to find out what happens next. She quickly follows his lead and catches up to him while Chaos gives chase. When Ristarte begins to slow down, Chaos closes in on her and prepares to attack her, but Seiya quickly intervenes and saves her using his smoke bombs to distract Chaos so they can escape. When they return to the Divine Realm, Seiya discovers that time moves differently in the other world, and it's significantly faster. He then tells Ristarte to excuse him because he needs to train even more if he's going to save the world from the Demon King and his soldiers. 2 days later, Ristarte borrows Aria's magic ball so she can use it to see what's happening in the other world. But when she does, she's horrified to see that Chaos has already begun ravaging the village. She then sees Chaos killing one of the villagers before demanding that the hero show himself because if he doesn't, she would kill a villager every 10 minutes. Immediately, Ristarte takes the magic ball to Seiya to show him that Chaos is killing the villagers one by one. However, Seiya isn't too worried because he feels that 10 minutes in the other world is almost a day in the Divine Realm. With that in mind, he just replies that he won't return to the other world until he feels ready to face Chaos. Ristarte points out that they take action immediately, but Seiya insists that she let him train, stating that if he goes back unprepared, all the villagers would die regardless. At this point, Ristarte gets fed up with him and states that she would go to the other realm to save the villagers herself, but Seiya stops her and puts on his armor, telling her that he's now ready to face Chaos. Chaos since he has reached level 21. When they return to Gabrande, Seiya immediately attacks Chaos with his wind magic, and she realizes all of Seiya's stats are higher than hers. To even the odds, she transforms into a terrifying level 66 monster. Chaos suddenly attacks Seiya, and Ristarte fears that he won't make it out of the fight alive, blaming herself for forcing him out when he wasn't prepared. However, Seiya survives, and it turns out that he has been using the fake-out skill the whole time to hide his true level, which is actually at level 37. At this level, he's several times more powerful than Chaos because he's the chosen hero, but he decided to be cautious all the while. This dude has got some cheeky tricks up his sleeves. Using his Phoenix Drive ability, Seiya easily destroys Chaos, which earns him and Ristarte the town's admiration. Just to make sure Chaos doesn't regenerate, Seiya unleashes a barrage of explosions on her charred remains. Unfortunately, in the process, the city of Edona is destroyed by the Inferno, and the formerly thankful people of Edona now tearfully beg them to leave. When Ristarte and Seiya return to the Divine Realm, Ristarte wonders how the situation with Seiya is going to work out, so she goes to meet Aria for more advice. As Seiya continues to train, he notices that the rate at which his level increases has started to slow down, so he goes to inform Ristarte and Aria. Aria states that he won't level up quickly if he continues training alone, so she suggests he train with a god. Seiya is immediately on board with the plan, so Aria takes him and Ristarte to the divine blade god Circe. After introducing them to each other, Aria asks Circe if he would train Seiya, and he agrees, only because a high-ranking goddess like her has requested it. Circe asks Seiya to show what he's got, so they hold a little sparring session, in which Seiya manages to hold his own against the god of swords. After the duel, Circe is impressed and agrees to train Seiya so he can level up faster. As the days go by, Ristarte notices Circe becoming depressed and even losing weight. On the fourth day of training, she finds him hiding behind some drying seaweed, and when she asks him what's going on, he reveals that Seiya has already surpassed him. Imagine such a bulked up guy hiding from his student. Despite his rapid progress, Seiya is still intent on training and even refuses to let Circe take a break. As a result, Circe can no longer defeat him in their duels and is now terrified. When Seiya finally catches him, Circe throws his sword into the ocean as an excuse not to train. But Seiya simply drags him away for more training, regardless. Sometime later, Ristarte learns from an old goddess named Ishtar, who can see the future, that the Demon Lord plans on retaliating after Seiya defeats Chaos. She reveals that the Demon King plans on sending the demon Deathmagla and an undead army to the town of Simul, where there are two warriors who Ishtar has foreseen will be their allies. As a result, Ristarte must head there to stop the attack, so she takes Seiya away from his unnecessary training and heads down to the city of Simul. There, they purchase some holy water before later meeting Mash and Ilulu, two Dragonkin descendants at a church. The priest, named Marth, greets Seiya and Ristarte and begins telling them about the army of undead approaching. Without saying a word, Seiya pours a full bottle of holy water on his head to everyone's surprise. But just then, the priest reverts to his true form, and it is revealed that Father Marth is an undead in disguise. As a result, Seiya effortlessly defeats him without even drawing his sword, and then thoroughly destroys the body with explosions. In the process, he also destroys the church with his fiery blasts. Afterwards, the Dragonkins try to join Seiya's team, but he just bluntly tells Mash and Ilulu he does not need them, bringing today's recap to an end.